Mom makes her ugly by faking her cancer to avoid boys. That is next level hating.
The
I'm not
episode
gonna lie to
starts
you.
with a 911 distress call on June 14th, 2015 from a worried neighbor, Lacey, stating nobody at Dee Dee's house is answering. Lacey cries for the police to hurry, revealing that her neighbor has posted some terrible and depressing posts on her Facebook page.
And she's a Star Wars fan too. I'm not gonna lie, you Star Wars maniacs are looking bad. Hey, I'm live on Twitch every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Link is in the description. I better see you there.
In the meantime, her mother Mel enters Dee Dee's residence through a window to check if anything bad has happened. As she stares at the silent house, the police sirens can be heard in the background. After a while, the detectives finally enter Dee Dee's house and discover her badly stabbed corpse in the main bedroom. They share the news with Lacey and her mother, who are now worried about Dee Dee's daughter, Gypsy's whereabouts. The show then flashes.
Her name is what? I don't think I can say that. Isn't that like a bad word? I don't think I'm allowed to say that word.
Back to 7 years earlier, Dee Dee lives with her sick and wheelchair-bound daughter, Gypsy Rose, in their new home provided by Habitat for Humanity. The two arrived in the new neighborhood in Springfield, Missouri in 2008, following the destruction of their previous home caused by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. One day, they sit for a television interview where Dee Dee talks about how getting the house was like a Disney dream for her. In the next scene, Dee Dee shaves Gypsy's head in the kitchen sink. As they talk, Dee prepares a medication concoction and injects it into Gypsy's stomach via a long tube. My mom would just give me aspirin. Later at night, Dee Dee sings a lullaby for her daughter and makes her wear a sleep apnea machine to bed. After leaving Gypsy to sleep for her daughter and makes her wear a sleep apnea machine to bed. After leaving Gypsy to sleep, Dee Dee opens a closet full of medicine bottles and takes a few pills for herself, including one named Sleepy Baby. The next day, they get a surprise visit from their neighbor Lacey. She offers Gypsy a makeover, and Dee Dee reluctantly allows it. During the makeover, the two girls start to bond, and Gypsy shares that her father made fun of how she walked when she was a child, before she used a wheelchair. All this time, Dee Dee is closely listening to the girls' conversation. Later, she makes sure to scrub off all the makeup, much to Gypsy's dismay. The following morning, the mother-daughter duo decides to venture out and meet new people in the neighborhood. First, they come across Lacey and her boyfriend, who are washing their car. Dee Dee heads over to Lacey's mom, Mel, who is chilling out with her friend Shelly. The three talk about parenthood, but Dee Dee keeps mentioning about how her daughter is suffering with diseases like paraplegia, epilepsy, anemia, and a heart murmur.
I thought she just had that like Jada Smith disease. It's not Smith no more. Are they divorced yet? Are they still together? She got that young Jada.
Shelly and Mel are amazed by Dee Dee's strength to look after her poor kid. As the mothers talk, everything comes to a screeching halt when Lacey offers Gypsy a sip of Coke. Dee Dee immediately rushes over to her daughter and tells everyone that Gypsy is allergic to sugar. Anybody else starting to get Bubble Boy vibes? The following day, Dee Dee takes Gypsy to the mall. Gypsy pleads with her mom to buy a blue necklace, but rather than buying it, she slips the chain into Gypsy's bag. It isn't until the last moment that she spots her neighbor Mel looking at her. In the evening, Dee Dee tries to...
Yeah, you caught me stealing this. What you gonna do about it? Are you gonna press my daughter that can't walk and has cancer? Huh? What you gonna do? Because if that's not what you're gonna do, I want you to see you keep on walking, keep on moving.
To talk to Mel, but the latter simply
she can't walk.
Her.
No,
Hence,
she can't.
With the intention of buying Mel's silence, Dee Dee plans a party at her house, inviting all neighbors. Meanwhile, Gypsy takes the time to search best friend and boyfriend's kiss on her mom's laptop and immediately deletes the search history before her mom gets home. The movie then cuts to the party, where a lot of people are gathered. Everyone is having fun out in the yard, and Dee Dee talks to all the people, one by one. Just then, Gypsy decides to eat a cupcake, which can be fatal for her. Seeing this, her mother freaks out and immediately rushes to stab her with an EpiPen. This stuns everyone, and they wonder how much pain Dee Dee has endured to care for her sick daughter.
Oh, so she's pretending all this nonsense, and Dee Dee's just going along with it because she's never mind.
Gypsy wakes up at the hospital and overhears the doctor telling Dee Dee that she is not allergic to sugar. While leaving, they find Mel waiting outside to drop off Dee Dee's wallet that she had left at the party. Dee Dee thanks her and laments that she doesn't want people to see her as a woman with a bad reputation due to her past. Mel also reveals that she has her own troubled past, so she understandably offers to start afresh. At night, Gypsy lays her daughter down for bed and puts on her usual sleep
Do you think she doesn't know she can walk, or does she know she can walk and she just like she's fully committed to pretending like she can't? I'm talking about Gigi. That's what I'm gonna call her because I'm not saying her name.
Machine. As Gypsy fades off to sleep, Dee Dee opens a stash of checks addressed to Claudine Blanchard, possibly her real name. After that, she goes to bed next to her daughter. Less than an hour later, Gypsy wakes up while her mom is asleep and shuts off her machine to get out of bed. Gypsy, who had been a wheelchair user up until this moment, stands on her feet and slowly tiptoes her way out of the room. She then goes to the kitchen to eat whipped cream while readying her EpiPen. But after she licks a handful, there's no shock. It turns out that she isn't allergic to sugar. Her mom had just lied about it. When she returns to her room, she is startled to see her mom awake, who furiously tells her to get back to bed. On another night, Gypsy sits in front of her laptop watching makeup videos on YouTube while enjoying a tub of frosting and
was this back when James Charles wasn't canceled? This is a nasty combo. She's watching makeup, eating frosting and Coke. Oh my God, I know her poo is going to be ridiculously smelly, bro. I'm not going to lie. That poo is going to attract all the wildebeest within a 20-mile radius.
Enjoying a tub of frosting and a Coca-Cola drink, she soon feels a pain in her tooth, perhaps having a cavity after all the sugar she's been eating secretly. The following morning, Dee Dee wakes her daughter up to share great news. Gypsy has been named the community's Child of the Year. What the hell is that?
From being disabled?
Excited, she notices Gypsy's tooth troubles. Dee Dee immediately suspects it is an underlying condition and takes her daughter to see their pediatrician, Dr. Harley. At the hospital, they meet with the doctor, and Dee Dee thinks Gypsy's acid reflux has returned, which is ruining her teeth. While the doctor calls for a gastroenterologist, Dr. Chandra, to look at Gypsy, Dee Dee sneakily steals his prescription pad from the counter. In the following scene, Dr. Chandra suggests Dee Dee make an urgent dental appointment. However, Dee Dee wants to treat her daughter's acid reflux first, prompting the doctor to become suspicious.
Wait, is this the same woman that's Davy's mother?
Hence, she asks for Gypsy's...
Yeah, she has to be. Yeah, she is. She's the Davy's mother from Never Have I Ever, right? Yeah.
Medical records. But Dee Dee states that they were lost during Hurricane Katrina. Before the doctor can say anything, Dee Dee rushes her daughter away. Later, Dr. Chandra asks Dr. Harley if he has confirmed Gypsy's full medical history.
She looks so young here. She looked old as hell in Never Have I Ever. Like, I feel like she looked 10 years older in that show.
The latter has no answer. After this, the scene cuts to Dee Dee and Gypsy waiting in their car outside a pharmacy. Surprisingly, Dee Dee takes out the writing pad that she had stolen and forges some prescriptions on it. Don't forget to write scissorp, Mummy. Back to the present, the detectives examine Dee Dee's stab wounds. Meanwhile, Lacey suspects someone might have been after Gypsy.
She killed her. Gigi killed her. She wasn't having it no more. She said, bitch, I can walk. I can walk. I can eat ice cream. You're not stopping me no more. That's what she said. I feel it.
Mother. She also informs the detectives about all of Gypsy's underlying illnesses. The movie goes back to 2009, where Gypsy has one of her teeth rot out completely. While brushing them, she whimpers with excruciating pain as the sink is left in a bloody mess. Because of this, her mother starts giving her more unnecessary medications. After a while, Dee Dee takes Gypsy over to Lacey's, who is hanging out with her friends. As the group discusses trivial topics, one of the girls notices Gypsy's bad tooth, prompting Gypsy to reveal that she has been sneaking out to eat sweet things at night. Meanwhile, Dr. Chandra isn't ready to give up on her suspicions. She makes several calls to hospitals to learn more about Gypsy's medical history. She finally places a call to Child Protection Services, and Allison, one of the representatives, pulls up on Dee Dee's doorstep. Seeing this, Dee Dee immediately springs into action, feeding sleeping pills to Gypsy to make her look sick. Allison introduces herself and looks around the house.
This is crazy. She's just drugging her child. Why is she doing this? Like, she's not getting enough money to be doing. Okay, she shouldn't be doing it in general. But she's not getting paid enough to be doing all this either.
Gypsy, Dee Dee lies to her, saying that her daughter has the mind of a 7-year-old. Soon, Allison sits for a talk alone with a medicated Gypsy, while Dee Dee lurks at the doorway. She interrogates the little girl continuously to check if she is fine. However, as Gypsy speaks, she appears disoriented and dizzy, hence confirming her mother's claims.
She gave her a
After
perk.
this, Allison questions Dee Dee about her social security card, not matching the name on her address. But as usual, the mother uses Hurricane Katrina as an excuse. With this, Allison decides to conclude her visit, as she didn't find any suspicious activity. Allison should be fired. That whole trip was sus as hell. Next, Dee Dee takes Gypsy to the dentist to have her teeth extracted. After she is put under anesthesia, she wakes up to find most of her teeth gone. The little girl weeps while
she's toothless? And she can't even breathe fire! Oh my God.
looking at herself in the mirror with a swollen mouth. Later, Gypsy tells her mom that she doesn't want to attend her Child of the Year award ceremony, not wanting to show herself in such a state in front of people. However, this only angers Dee Dee, and she yells that Gypsy is going to the event. We are then taken to the award day, where Dee Dee is preparing her daughter for the big event.
How old is Gigi? She says she's mentally 7, but it looks like all her friends are like in high school.
She also brings some dentures for Gypsy to wear while on stage. After a while, her name is called upon on the stage for the Child of the Year award. Along with the recognition comes financial help of $5,000. Dee Dee cannot contain her happiness.
You did all this for $5K? You did all of this for $5K. Thank you, G God Aaron, for the sub. 5?
After receiving the check, while the crowd cheers them on. She then gives an emotional speech before she and Gypsy sing an impromptu rendition of I'll Be There. Cringe. Meanwhile, Dr. Chandra calls to check on Gypsy and manages to get an appointment with her despite Dee Dee's reluctance. In the evening, Gypsy and Dee Dee are back at the hospital for their appointment with Dr. Chandra. In her room, the doctor manages to talk with Gypsy alone and tries to convince her that she isn't allergic to sugar. She offers a can of Coke, but Gypsy refuses to drink it out of loyalty to her mom. Just then, Dee Dee arrives, prompting the doctor to put away the can and start examining Gypsy. Back in 2015, the cops continue to search Dee Dee's home to find clues to the murder. Sometime later, Lacey tells them of a secret Facebook account Gypsy had created to make friends and assumes she even had a boyfriend. Following this, the movie again flashes back to 2011. Dee Dee collects all the money from a GoFundMe page that pours in for her supposedly sick daughter.
She's milking the hell out of her daughter. Now imagine during TikTok, bro. You know how much she could milk the hell out of her daughter on TikTok? I mean, sure, she would get exposed a lot faster too. But still, that'd be some racks. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Ken Kanye for the sub.
Meanwhile, Gypsy continues her routine of sneaking out of bed at night to watch YouTube videos on kissing and cosplays. Next, she prepares for Fantasticon, a cosplay event, while putting some makeup on her mom. While checking in at the event, Dee Dee says her daughter's birth year is 1995, when the girl at the counter
1995, which means if this is this is 09, I think they said. So 5 plus 9. So she's in high school.
Asks her. This confuses Gypsy, as she was always under the impression that she was born in 1993. Soon, the two run into Shelly and her boyfriend.
So when is she? How old is she?
Meanwhile, Russ, one of the neighbors, notices Dee Dee and tries to ask her out for a date. However, Dee Dee changes the subject and asks to leave for the restroom, while Gypsy approaches a guy dressed as Wolverine. He introduces himself as Scott, and they chat about their favorite Marvel characters.
Hey, Scott.
Gypsy then urges Scott to see the DeLorean from Back to the Future, to which he agrees. Luckily, they are invited to the front line. Scott picks Gypsy up to put her in one of the seats, and the two have fun together. Sadly, the good time doesn't last long, as Dee Dee interrupts them and hurries Gypsy home. At the same time, Russ again shows up, trying to get Dee Dee's attention and shares
Russ, if you got rid of this ugly ass, nonsensical bullshit off your face, you might be able to secure a date. But what is this? Can you take this shit off? Because it is trash as fuck. It's trash.
he too had a son in a wheelchair before he died. After they reach home and tuck themselves in bed, Gypsy sneaks out again to open a Facebook account, hoping she will find Scott online. However, she becomes confused about her birth date again, so she checks her mother's purse. To her surprise, her actual birthday is in 1991.
And this is '09. She's a grown woman. She's 19, 20, 29, 18, 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, something like that.
Meaning she's 19 years old, angered by her mom's lies.
Killer.
Because this makes her a predator if she goes after Scott. She steals some cash from her. The following day at a gas station, Gypsy secretly buys a cell phone. In the next scene, Dee Dee surprisingly gets a call from Russ, prompting her to ask where he got her number. Meanwhile, Gypsy starts talking with Scott through her new phone, sharing about her hospital staff, whom she refers to as...
Chat, who's Scott again? Which one's Scott? Because I don't remember. Imagine making your child lie. Imagine making your child lie about your child being... Okay, imagine lying about your child. Yeah,
her friends. Dee Dee continues to get phone calls from Russ,
I don't remember
but their
who Scott
brewing
is.
romance cuts short when he offers to help her with her sick daughter. As expected, Dee Dee doesn't want anyone close enough to unravel her lies. On the other hand, Gypsy has also become close with Scott. She subtly suggests that she wants to run away with him. She also gives him her address if he wants to send a gift. Lo and behold, he sends her a package containing a red Ariel wig. One day, Lacey catches Gypsy smiling at her phone and asks her about it. Unlike her mother, the little girl shares everything. She talks about Scott, who she refers to as Prince Charming. Before departing, she also tells Lacey about her secret Facebook account, which is under the name Emma Rose. Later at night, Gypsy...
Emma Rose? Why does that sound so familiar? That sounds really familiar.
She gets a message from Scott saying that he's in an emergency room at the hospital, so he cannot talk. This worries Gypsy, and she immediately heads to the hospital. When Scott sees her, he is taken aback that Gypsy can stand on her 2 feet. Back at home, Dee Dee wakes up to find that her daughter is nowhere to be seen at the house.
Wait, how did
she
she
then finds
get there?
a note Gypsy left, stating that she is fleeing with her Prince Charming and never coming back.
Oh, wow.
Elsewhere, Scott takes Gypsy to his place. She is seemingly happy to be home with her Prince Charming and puts some ice packs on his bruises.
She kind of look like... Who does she look like right here? Damn, who does she look like? I can't put my finger on it.
After chatting for some time, they kiss, but get interrupted by Dee Dee at the door.
I know he felt all those, what is it called? Cavities, metallic teeth. I know it didn't feel good.
Dee Dee begs her daughter to return home and admits that she nearly had an anxiety attack while she was gone. Hearing her mom, Gypsy reluctantly agrees to return. Before leaving, Dee Dee tells Scott that Gypsy is only 14 years old. Once back home, Dee Dee pulls her daughter's red hair and forces her back into the wheelchair. To see what happens next, watch the second part.
What do you mean, watch the second part? My nigga, just tell me what happens.
The episode starts in 2013.
I'll fall for it.
Gypsy peeks through her window to watch Matt, the lawn-mowing guy. It's evident that she has a growing sexual drive that of a young woman. Although her mom treats her like a baby, Dee Dee interrupts her, asking her daughter to take a bath. Gypsy reluctantly agrees, and when Dee Dee finishes scrubbing her, she's having her period. Dee Dee gets upset after seeing blood stains on the...
Why is she washing her? Why do we need to know this?
the bath mat. Having her mother clean up menstrual blood is definitely a tiny victory for Gypsy right now. Considering her mom's emotional torture, she cheekily smiles before her mom starts cleaning the mat. At the hospital, a doctor examines Dee Dee and informs her that she has type 2 diabetes and has to get insulin shots. Gypsy asks the doctor if her mom's condition is serious, which the doctor affirms, and adds that it could be fatal too. Hearing this, Gypsy is scared for her mom's deteriorating health. After all, she is her daughter. Next, it's Gypsy's birthday, but she's still unconvinced of her mother's lie that her birth year is 1995, not 1991. Dee Dee lies that the birth date Gypsy found was a typo, and that she's 18 years old now.
What, bruh?
She gives Gypsy a pair of pet guinea pigs as a birthday present. Meanwhile, Lacey visits Gypsy and mentions that she met her new boyfriend online through a Christian dating site. It intrigues Gypsy, and she asks Lacey to show her the site. Dee Dee gets a call from Gypsy's dad, who asks to wish his daughter on her birthday. But as usual, Dee Dee lies about Gypsy being terminally ill, and not having many days to survive. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from
This
Gypsy's
mom
nurse
is so
from the hospital.
nasty.
The nurse informs that since Gypsy is now 18 years old, they need her consent for anything invasive. This gets Dee Dee
Ooh.
nervous, and she goes to find Gypsy after hanging up the call. When she sees Gypsy and Lacey sitting on the porch, Dee Dee scolds her daughter for taking the guinea pigs outside and hurries her inside. Later, she tries to scare Gypsy about what's beyond their doorstep, such as creepy stalkers who steal young girls.
I mean, that does happen. I mean, at least she's not completely lying.
Dee Dee wants to get legal guardianship over her grown daughter so that Gypsy cannot give consent. However, when she and Gypsy go to a lawyer, she keeps controlling Gypsy, making sure she says the right thing to perpetuate the act. Thankfully, the lawyer determines Gypsy is competent on her own and dismisses Dee Dee's
Ooh.
request. In the following
Ooh.
scene, Dee Dee takes Gypsy to a shopping mall and rants about how she couldn't get guardianship, but her diabetes seems to get to her slowly as her ankles are swelling, and she's lightheaded. Gypsy asks her mom to sit while she goes to get medication from the pharmacy, but she goes to a store where they sell laptops and buys one for herself, hoping to explore the online digital site. Gypsy immediately sneaks her laptop to their van and hides it before her mom knows about it.
What
While
the
returning
hell?
to the mall, she finds her mom in bad shape. They hurriedly return home, and Gypsy injects her mom with insulin. Dee Dee asks Gypsy if she loves her. Gypsy reluctantly nods, but her facial expression shows she is yearning to break free from her controlling mother. Later at night,
Ooh.
Gypsy signs up for the dating site that Lacey had told her about. She poses with a black wig and uploads her profile picture on the site. The following day, Dee Dee asks to watch Twilight with Gypsy, but her
Aw.
daughter's mind is elsewhere. Gypsy wants to see Matt, the lawnmower, again, but her mom manages.
She wants to stalk the lawnmower guy. Is that what people do? Have y'all ever seen someone like doing work outside and y'all just creep and look at them out the window? Is that normal? Is that like real life behavior? Because I think that's kind of crazy. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I'm seeing too many yeses. Why are all y'all saying yes? Y'all are wild, bro.
To convince her to watch the movie. Dee Dee covers Gypsy's eyes when an intimate scene comes on, but Gypsy takes a quick peek through her mom's fingers. That night, Gypsy once again surfs through the dating site on her new laptop. She finds many messages on her profile, including one from Matt, the lawnmower guy showing off his private parts, which startles her. Just then, a guy named Nick pops up, looking to chat. Gypsy accepts his request, and soon the pair start getting to know each other. Nick compliments her that she looks like a
Nick thinks he's slick, chat. Nick thinks
startles
he's
her.
slick.
Just then,
Nick G. Now, what could that? What do you think? What do you think happens after that G? This is his name, Nick. He's not
a guy
slick,
named Nick
bro.
know each other. Nick compliments her that she looks like a princess. Their text conversation moves on to the live webcam. Gypsy mentions that she uses a wheelchair and vaguely explains having many challenges in her life. On the other hand, Nick says that he accepts Gypsy for who she is, despite her health problems. He also shares about having multiple personalities and his dark side. Meanwhile, Dee
What?
Dee calls her lawyer to ask about a power of attorney since she wants to control her daughter's life in any way possible. The lawyer informs that she needs to have Gypsy sign some papers before Dee Dee can be regarded as her legal caregiver. And so, Dee Dee's act starts once again. One night, she pretends she has low blood sugar and asks Gypsy to tend to her. While Gypsy is checking on her sugar level, Dee Dee says that Gypsy needs to know that lying and cheating are wrong and talks about how she ended up in jail a few years ago for such acts. She
Okay.
frightens her daughter by explaining the consequences of lying to people their whole life. But then Dee Dee
Okay.
says there's a way for them to stay safe.
That's so hypocritical. Who are you to tell me about that?
And not
You
go to
hippo?
jail before presenting the power of attorney papers. She presents the papers as a threat to her daughter that she'll be made responsible for her mother's crimes of cheating people. Gypsy
What?
hesitatingly signs her name on those documents. Later, Gypsy weeps over the webcam to Nick and says how she has been trapped all her life. She then tells him the truth about not needing the wheelchair. Instead, it was her mom who made her do this. Nick wants to calm Gypsy down, so he
Nick
offers
about
to
to
introduce
calm-
her to a strange bit of erotica, showing an explicit
You're introducing her to corn to calm her down? Is that what we need to calm down now? A little bit of corn?
image. The following day, Dee wakes up to find Gypsy gone from her bed. So, she goes to Gypsy's room and finds Gypsy on the floor with the laptop still by her side. Dee Dee immediately brings the laptop to the kitchen and smashes it with a hammer. Gypsy wakes up to a thudding sound, only to find her mom lashing out on the matter. Gypsy, however, rebels, saying she'll buy another one.
You
This
mean
only
rebels?
prompts Dee Dee to go nuts. She drags her daughter to their common room, throws
Stand
her on
up!
the bed.
Stand up, run! You can run away! I'm just saying, like you literally, like, I know she's manipulated to a crazy point, but nigga, you can run away. Literally.
And tries to tie her arms. Frustrated, Gypsy fights back and spits in her mom's face. While her mom shatters into pieces, Gypsy tries to escape but returns to her mom. This shows that Gypsy is trapped in so many ways, and one of those is psychological. Later that night, Gypsy shares more about her life with Nick as their online relationship goes deeper. She nurtures his dark side while he initiates sexual tension between them. Gypsy touches herself, exploring more about the adult world.
What?
The show then jumps to 2015. Gypsy keeps falling further for Nick.
Did we just have a 5-6 year jump? And she's still with this Nick guy and she's gay? That nigga made her gay!
Nick, but Nick wants to come to visit her in person. He laments that they have been together for 2 years, so they have to see each other physically instead of digitally. Gypsy isn't sure since her mom would never let her have a boyfriend. She suddenly comes up with an idea Nick can accidentally—
Aren't you like 25 now? Like, aren't you like mid-20s? So what are you talking about? My mom won't let it happen. Are you not mid-20s? I'm just asking.
run into her and Dee Dee, making it look like he is seeing Gypsy for the first time. The following morning, Gypsy asks Dee Dee to go on a Disney trip, but her mom's health seems to be deteriorating every day.
She look
as
old
she
as hell.
refuses to take insulin or exercise. When Gypsy cannot stop bugging her about going on the trip, Dee Dee lashes out. She grabs Gypsy's shoulder, gaslighting her about how she has done everything to keep a roof over their head. Next, the series cuts to Wisconsin, and we finally get to see Nick in real life. He works at Pizza Palace. Series cuts to
Why
Wisconsin,
he look like he from Big
and we
Bang
finally
Theory?
get to see Nick in
And it all started with a big bang. Bang!
real life. He works at Pizza Peddler as a waiter but has been recently upgraded to the kitchen. His boss teaches him to cook a pizza, but it doesn't go well. Nick clumsily knocks 2 uncooked pizzas onto the floor,
He's
so he
scared of
gets sent
uncooked
out as a
pizza?
walking pizza advertisement slice. Later that night, he returns to his lonely room and starts his usual routine of talking with his online girlfriend, Gypsy. As they talk, Nick playfully says that his dark
Put a
side
shirt
can
on.
actually do violent things like murdering people.
Put a
Gypsy
shirt on.
shrugs it off, although she seems concerned. Dee Dee
Put a
informs that
shirt
she is
on.
taking her daughter to see the new Cinderella movie. Gypsy then buys a bus ticket for Nick so they can meet at the movie premiere. She tells him to arrive at the premiere a bit earlier so that he can open the door for her and her mom, hoping that his courteousness impresses Mom. But things don't go out as planned on the movie day. Gypsy is clad in her Cinderella dress and arrives at the theater with her mom. She eagerly waits for her boyfriend Nick, but he is nowhere to be found.
ghosted.
Just when she starts feeling hopeless, she sees Nick, and the two are seemingly pleased to see each other. Just when she starts feeling hopeless,
Like, look at what she fell in love with, bro. What is that? That thing is dangerous. He's scaring me.
sees Nick, and the two are seemingly pleased to see each other in person for the first time. But when Dee Dee comes to fetch Gypsy after buying movie tickets, Nick fumbles and ends up scaring Dee Dee. She hurriedly heads inside with her daughter. Once inside, Gypsy's more concerned with waiting for Nick to come to the hall than the screen. But her expression lifts when Nick comes to sit behind her. Dee Dee immediately moves her daughter to the next corner when she sees him, but it doesn't stop Nick from following them and sitting behind them. Dee Dee gets pissed off and moves again to the next corner. Nick finally gets up and leaves, upsetting poor Gypsy, who had so much planned for their first meeting. After some time, Gypsy uses the excuse of going to the restroom to look for Nick. Luckily,
Okay.
she finds him in the hallway.
Me personally, I would never let my child in a wheelchair go somewhere by themselves, and when I could go with them. That's just me though, because people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, she is 25, so I'm forgetting she's a grown ass woman.
And urges him to go to the restroom where they can have some private time. There, they have their first kiss and lie on the bathroom floor to make love to each other for
They're where?
the first time. 2. Afterward, Gypsy
Where?
returns to the movie hall, pretending nothing intimate has happened. Once the movie is
Where?
over, she and her mom prepare to leave. Just then, she spots Nick waiting for her in the lounge area. Nick tries to open the exit door for Dee Dee and Gypsy, but Dee Dee gets aggressive with him. She takes Gypsy away, calling him a pedophile and a stalker. At home, Dee Dee's suspicious about whether Gypsy has met Nick before. Gypsy lies about it and goes to her room to text Nick. Nick apologizes for not being able to make a good impression on Gypsy.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's because you're a creep. You're literally a creep. I don't blame the mom.
But he is determined to tell the truth about their relationship with Dee Dee. Although Gypsy begs him not to, Nick calls Dee Dee and tells everything. He makes clear that he and Gypsy have been in love for years, and that he is the father of her future children. He emphasizes his dominance, assuring her not to talk rudely, and then hangs up. This only makes things worse for Gypsy. Dee Dee switches to her aggressive mode and ties Gypsy to the bed in a desperate gesture of punishing her for her actions. This only prompts Gypsy to text her boyfriend that she needs his dark side Victor to be activated so that he can help her. She asks him to kill her mom since she cannot bear the emotional and physical torture. Nick gives a horrific stare as things are finally crossing over terror.
Look at this, bro,
One day while at the mall, Gypsy sneaks off from her mom to make another secret purchase. Only this time, it isn't a laptop but the same knife she plans to use to stab her mom. Meanwhile, Dee Dee panics as she cannot find her daughter. Sometimes later, she spots Gypsy in a toy store. It turns out Gypsy has had the time to hide the knife and pretend she's buying a gift toy for her mom. Dee Dee thankfully sighs after seeing her daughter, and they return home. Later that night, Gypsy confirms with Nick
Oh yeah, she wants to be Harley Quinn so badly, bro. Look at her. She wants to be a Harley.
that it's the following night they will kill her mom, and they will
Toby
be together.
Actually, now that y'all bring it up, he's
Gypsy
Toby?
confirms with Nick that
This
it's
is
the following
Toby?
night.
How far the great has fallen. There's no way. This is Toby Maguire. No, it can't be.
They will kill her mom, and they will be together forever. The following morning, Nick heads to Gypsy's place from Wisconsin. While Gypsy offers to clip her mom's toenails, she also paints nails, and they spend a sweet moment together for one last time. Gypsy then suggests they see Dr. Harley to change her feeding tube. This takes them out of their house for a bit. Later that night, they go to bed together, but once Dee Dee falls asleep, Gypsy gets up and packs her suitcase hurriedly. This is when Nick arrives at her place. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on the notifications, and leave a...
Could you not have... Why do we have to have 3 parts?
The show jumps...
For the love of God. There did not need to be 4 parts! Nah, you lose... I don't...
back to 1991 in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. Dee Dee is giving birth to her daughter Gypsy in the hospital. The doctors inform that there is a problem with the umbilical cord, but then they manage to cut it out. It takes a second, but then the baby finally wails, and the doctors
irritated me. I'm not watching 4 parts. They got me pressed.